Hi, I'm Bob Roth, Managing Partner and Co-founder of Cypress Home Care Solutions. Since 1994, we've been helping older adults in the Phoenix community age gracefully and safely in the place they call home. Since 2014, I've been bringing you Health Futures, Taking Stock in You, a show dedicated to helping you live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Health Futures, and I'm really excited to have this guest here today. Longtime friend and fellow Arizonan. He's lived here a couple times, but he's here for good now, I think. Welcome to Health Futures, Tom Maxwell.
Thank you, Bob, for having me. It's great to be here, and it's great to drive down the road and get to record this right here with you live in person.
It's great to do this with you, and you have this company called Maxwell TEC.
Correct.
And it's tech-enabled
care.
And it's a company that's been around for a while now. It's just a reimagined and renamed company.
Yeah, we called it Maxwell Healthcare Associates when we first came out. And then it was kind of dumb of me to do that because you had to spell out Maxwell Healthcare Associates.
Yeah, your email was just really long.
Yeah, most people can't spell associates in our industry, so it was really bad. So, we changed the name to Maxwell Tech as we started building a bunch of technology. So, and that's where we got it.
So for our listeners, I want them to know a little bit about you, and I want us to take it back to where you're from, and a little bit about your background and how you got into healthcare.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great story. I'm a dumb kid. Grew up from Amarillo, Texas. Was an EMT in high school and a volunteer firefighter, and decided that I really loved that kind of industry. So I started working on that, and then. Went to college, played football, hurt my knee. And
where'd you go to school?
West Texas State.
All right.
Hurt my knee, and so I joined the Navy as a corpsman. Excelled really good as a Navy as a corpsman. This was in 1990. I was a carpet layer before that, believe it or not. So all through high school, I laid carpet. Hard work, man. It is hard work.
And now I know why you hurt your knee.
Yeah.
Because you use those knee things to stretch the carpet.
Everywhere, yeah. And so I was a carpet layer. We worked for Kane's Carpet Care, Alan Kane. Grew up on a ranch, worked for carpet, and then went into the Navy. Accelerated the Navy, loved it. Was a Fleet Marine Force corpsman. So spent most of my career, although I always say the Marines aren't smart enough to have health care, so they have to provide, the Navy has to provide that. So I was a green-sized corpsman, spent 10 years serving the country, run around all over the world.
Thank you for your service, my man.
Yeah, Second Surveillance Reconnaissance Intelligence Group was the name of my unit. My last duty station was in Corpus Christi, Texas. I got out of the Navy, worked a little bit in the healthcare field, and then I got recruited to be a computer-based training developer from a company called Millbrook. And so my job was to build computer programs. Back then, they were big floppy disk. And
did you have experience before doing that, or was it pretty much learning on the job?
Learning on the job. I did a little bit of it in the military back when we were building websites and stuff. So, So my job was a computer-based training developer for the practice management software on the physician side of the business. And then Mike Nissenbaum was the CEO of that business, and he saw something in me that, I was 10 years military, and he said, let's give you a chance, and we're going to make you run our training team. So I took over as vice president of training, customer services. GE bought that business, put it together with Logician was the name of that company. And then
about what years was this?
This was in 2000 to 2003. When GE bought us.
Yeah.
Learned a ton from GE. I was kind of the site manager and running kind of the program there under a guy named Dave Hendrickson, who's still a great friend of mine and mentor. And then April recruited me. And so April's boss at PricewaterhouseCoopers was a guy named Steve Myers. Steve was applying for a job as a CFO with April, and he gave her my name, and that's history. So I started as the COO.
A little bit about April, so our listeners can really know who April Anthony is.
Yeah, so April's an icon in our industry. She's April Anthony was the CEO of Advanced Home Care Management back then. Now it became Encompass and then Inhabit. She was also the CEO of Home Care Home Base, which was the software company we'd work for. So August of 2005, I started at Home Care Home Base she hired me as a vice president of operations, and 6 weeks later, I was the COO.
So she was actually working both at the same time.
Yeah, she built the software for her own company and then spun it off, and that's when I joined her.
You joined her then as COO.
As COO.
And you served in a number of capacities. I thought it was like CMO and Chief Strategy Officer. You were like in a lot of positions there at Home Care Home Base.
Yeah, so I was the COO for 6 years of my career, and then I really wanted to get away from operations and dealing with, every day-to-day customers and those kind of things, and really focus on sales and strategy and the product. And so we hired a guy named Jim Griffin, who became the vice president of operations, and I took over as the chief strategy officer. I left Home Care Home Base in 2016.
And was that before it was sold or after?
After 2 years ago. We sold it in 2014 to Hearst Corporation. Wow. And then we did an earn out for 2 years, and I left in 2016.
So if my math is right, you spent about 14 years with them.
No, 10.
10 years with
10
them.
years.
Okay. I told you my math isn't really good.
Yeah. 10 years, almost 10 years to the day. So
wow.
10 years, 2 weeks.
So now it's been like 9 years since then. So if you wouldn't mind, you've had an incredible journey, and I would love for you to share with our listeners and with me, what has happened since 2016.
Yeah, so it's fun. So 2016, I met Jennifer Maxwell. Actually, 2014, I met Jennifer Maxwell. We met from our dear friend Val Halmanderis, who was the CEO of NOC. Jennifer and I were both on the nominating selection committee for the board members of NOC. And
I've done that.
You've done that, Joe?
I did it twice. Yeah.
So that's where I met my wife.
Yeah.
We actually flew to DC. We sat down together at the dinner that Val had. And
let me guess, Buca di Beppo?
Buca di Beppo.
He always went to Buca di Beppo. Both the times we went to Buca di Beppo.
It's because they had that big chair that he could sit in, and the kind of king chair. But so Val, that's the greatest thing Val ever did, was introduce me to Jennifer. So I met Jennifer, and then I retired in 2016. We both retired. She was at the time was running the Minnesota State. She was a corridor.
She was a corridor. Yeah.
Before
I met her when she was in Minnesota.
Yeah. So she ran the Minnesota State Association, and then she went over to corridor. So we both retired. She went to be a yoga instructor. I was going to be a golfer. And 77 days into that, she's like, "Hey, fatty, get off the couch. You got to find something to do." I was going to drink a beer and play golf with, all of our patients. And so that's when we started Maxwell Healthcare Associates.
That really hard name.
Yeah.
Hard name. Yeah. Especially when you're spelling out the email address.
That's right. Yeah. And so then I also joined the board. I met Andy Horowitz and joined the board of Enclara Pharmacia. I was there for 3 years working with Andy and Steve Pinniger and those guys. We sold that business to Humana. And then a guy by the name of David Shupan reached out to me. And David Shupan was the first board member that I ever had at Home Care Home Base that I remember. And David said, "Hey, I want to go buy some hospices. Can you help me do that?" He's now at the Vistria Group. And I said, "Sure, let's go do that." And so we found St. Croix Hospice. And I knew Heath really well. And so we did a transaction with them. So I served on the board at St. Croix for almost 4 years. And then we also found Agape Care and Hospice Care South Carolina and put those companies together. So I was on their board. And while we're doing all this work, a guy by the name of Brian Mosier, who was data science, hardcore data science guy, came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do something really cool in hospice." And I said, "So do I." And I had an experience with my grandma where she'd passed away on hospice, and the chaplain had said, "Hey, you're about to pass away. You should call your family members." And so my dad texted me, and I talked to Nana for 45 minutes at the golf course, and the next day she died. I'm like, that was amazing, though. I got to say goodbye. Most people don't get to say goodbye.
Can you give me a context on years? When was that?
That was in 21. No, she died before 18.
18.
And so I remember that. And then when Brian came to me and said, "I want to build something in hospice," I'm like, I want to build that experience for everybody. And so we use predictive analytics, large neural nets to be able to look at a hospice patient and figure out when they're declining in their disease. And the whole goal is that to be able to predict in the next 10 days, Nana's going to have a transition. So we can get the family there. We can say goodbye. We can make sure our social worker's there, make sure we have enough care there. So we created a product called MUSE.
Which is so important. I mean, you experienced it yourself. I mean, we don't know when people are actively dying.
That's right.
But one of the things I did learn from hospice nurses and such, there's signs, whether it be the rattling or modeling. I mean, they know so much more than you or I or the typical layperson does.
It's true. We're using 600 data elements from the medical record of, all the collection, medications, falls, everything that they document to be able to predict this. And our goal is to predict it at 70% accuracy or 92% accuracy. So we know if Nana's going to pass away in the next 10 days, she's going to pass away. And she may live 11 or 12 days or 8 or 9 days, but let's make sure we're doing something different for Nana. So we created this platform and software. Jennifer Maxwell, Brian Mosier, myself, a few other people created this software. 2 years later, Elliot Wood came to me from Metalogics and said, "Hey, we love what you're doing. We want to buy you." And so we put that together. Again, David Shupan's name comes up again. He's at the Vistria Group. He put the two companies together. He bought MUSE, bought Metalogics, merged them together. And I'm still involved in that business. Love the business. And then just to put a pin in that business, today, Metalogics was sold to Berkshire, and they merged it together with Fracura, not today, but a couple months ago.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah. And they just renamed the company 3 or 4 days ago to It's a Great Day at Mosaic. So Mosaic is how they say it.
Wow. I like it.
Yeah. So it's Mosaic is the new company. So Mosaic, it's a play on Mosaic, MOSAI. So I'm still involved in that. I'm on the board there as well. And Jen and I have done a ton of other investments, invested in Trella Health, which is a data analytics company that looks at CMS claims data as well as a CRM. We invested in Elevate 5, which is a robot process automation company that supports in home care and hospice. David and I, Shupan and I, and a few other people invested in a company called Tango, which is based here in Scottsdale. Tango is a risk-bearing enabler. So they look at Medicare Advantage data and make sure that the home health patients are being steered to the right place. So very important business.
It is.
And we're trying to simplify that Medicare Advantage claims process. So most of our investments, we have a few other ones out there, but most of them are done through the home health and hospice. We feel like we're experts in that. And so we want to spend most of our time doing that.
The thing I love about what you're creating is you created something from a personal journey.
For sure.
I mean, it is what propelled you to do that, because you got that little slice of window to spend time with Nana.
Sure.
And then she was gone. And I mean, that's priceless that you got a chance to say goodbye. Amazing. And not everybody gets that.
That's right.
And that's what you're trying to do for others. You're trying to give those people the opportunity to say goodbye and be with their loved ones when they do take that last breath.
It is. It's something I'm very passionate about, and we continue to work on it. Jen and I and our family created a foundation called Be Kind to All, and one of our things in Be Kind to All, I'll tell you the stupid story behind the name. I read a book a long time ago, and they said your password that you use every day should be something that's really important and meaningful to you. And so I put BKND 2 all. That's not my password anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone, you better not remember that.
It's not my password anymore, but it's it's the name of our foundation, our family foundation. That. And so our goal is to provide to military and children, people with cancer and those kind of things. But, the goal with Be Kind to All was to be able to fund military families as their grandparents or mother or dad was passing away, to be able to fund them to fly home and be able to say goodbye.
Wow.
So we tied that together with MUSE and St. Croix and all that, and it's cool. And so I want to continue to do that. We've done less of it lately because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to continue to support that mission. Jen's really involved in it as well. She's done a ton of stuff at the Children's Hospital in Minnesota. We live in Minnesota in the summertime, like everybody in Arizona. They get out of here, but
Canada, Minnesota,
exactly.
Chicago,
Ohio, they're all here. But when we go up there, so we met Jason Zucker and Kyle Rudolph. Jason's a hockey player, Kyle's a football player, and they kind of brought us into the hospital, and they do some really amazing stuff. And so Jen's really involved in that.
I love it.
We've given a ton of stuff to the hospital, but really want to focus on children and military. That's our thing.
You do so much, and there's more. I mean,
sure.
You do a podcast.
Yeah, we just started Last Visit First podcast as well. It's me wanting to give back. I didn't want to do a podcast, Bob. I said, no, forever. And I was at a dinner with the CEO of ThorCare, and she was kind of ribbing me about, like, you need to do a podcast. So I went home, talked to Jen about it, and we said, yeah, let's do it. Well, so we hired a producer, and we have a podcast. We've recorded 12 episodes. We've released 3. It's been a blast. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do.
I love the name, Last Visit First. I mean, it really coincides with what you're creating and what you're building, which is really fascinating for me.
Yeah, we wanted to really figure out how to give back and how to make sure that the last visit we're doing is just like the first visit we do for a patient. And really that was kind of the motto of it. I'll be honest, ChatGPT figured it out for me, and they came up with 75 names, and that's the one we narrowed it down to.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to learn more about this, especially the tech piece and Maxwell TEC.
Okay.
So we got to take a break now.
Okay.
You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I've got Tom Maxwell here in the studio with me. Tom, you are the co-founder, CEO, or co-CEO of Maxwell TEC. What is your title?
Yeah, so Jennifer and I played the co-CEO role for a while, and good advice. If you work with your wife, don't be co-CEOs. It's not going to make life at home as much easier.
So she's now the CEO.
She's absolutely the CEO.
And you're the chairman.
I'm the chairman. I work for Jennifer. No question about that. She's way smarter than I am and all those kind of things.
100%. I know Jennifer, so yeah.
I do the strategy. I do some of the sales and, to help the team. I'm not a full-time employee of Maxwell. I do all the other things. Jen runs the show. But Yeah. So Maxwell TEC is a consulting company. We have about 130 consultants around the country that are doing optimization, M&A, those kind of things. But we hired a guy named Scott Beard, who's the chief strategy officer for Maxwell TEC. Scott's background, he was at Home Care Home Base with me, and then he was at Encompass as the vice president of IT for a long time. And so I brought Scott in because I really want to start building tech. So we went down a journey. We were going to build an app, a patient engagement app. We wanted to make sure that, we could communicate with patients. What we found is patients don't want an app. They hate apps. Right. They do. And so they just want a text message. So we started building multiple products under the Nana Connect. Remember, Nana was my Nana. Everything's called Nana because we don't talk about patients anymore. We talk about Nanas. Everybody has a Nana. So it personalizes it. So Nana Connect, we created Engage, Notify, Reach, and Breathe. So Notify is appointment reminders. There was a guy named Kahuna Windows that washes my windows twice a year in Minnesota. He would send me all these text messages. I'm on my way. You have an appointment tomorrow. I'm here. Here's your invoice. How do we do? I'm like, why can't we do that in home health and hospice? Like, nobody does that. So we created it. And then we started looking at it from there. And we're just like, okay, well, if we could text Nana every single day or every other day and say, Nana, how are you feeling today compared to yesterday? If she tells me she's feeling bad, do something about it. If she's feeling good, do something about that. And so we created Engage. And then we kept going down the path and we're like, well, what if we discharge Nana? We got to keep her out of the hospital. What if we reach out to Nana every X days, 7, 12, 14, 30, 35, and just, Nana, how you feeling? If you need anything, we're here for you. And what we found is the response rate was really high. They loved the engagement. And so we created Reach. That's what Reach is. And then as we were doing that, we started down the path of how do we reduce the cost of bereavement? You're sending a 71-cent letter. Scott's dad passed away on hospice, and he kept getting these letters from Encompass, around, will you edit that out? It's Encompass, not Inhabit.
He's got it.
But he kept getting these letters, and he's like, I don't want a postcard in the mail that says, hey, your grandfather passed away, reach out here. He's like, what if we send a text message? I was like, okay, let's do that. So now we send a text message that says, hey, 4 days ago, your grandpa passed away. Here's all the resources you need. And what we found is people were responding like crazy. Like, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You're the best, hospice ever. And I said, wow, there's real stuff in that. Right. And then maybe it's, hey, I'm really struggling. I need help. Well, you're not going to, if I send you a postcard in the mail and it gets to you 5 days later, when you were struggling, you didn't have anything. But if I send you a text message and say, hey, if you're struggling, here's some resources, reach out to us. We've had patients that have, responded, hey, I'm really struggling. Please help me. We drop what we're doing, send a social worker out there, send a chaplain out there, the nurse. But the positive responses we've gotten is like, holy cow, how do we make this marketing material? If we did an amazing job and the patient's families telling us we did an amazing job, why are we not telling the caregivers, thank you for doing the right thing for this patient? 100%. And then let's go give it to the sales reps. And the sales reps can go tell the other doctors, here's what the families are saying about the care we provided immediately after the care we provided. And so Nana Bereavement's has been unbelievable for me. We get about a 30 to 40% response rate.
Which is incredibly high for our listeners.
Sure.
You have no clue. 30 to 40% is amazing.
And the stories are unbelievable. I had one lady that said, the social worker convinced me to get in bed with my husband. He died in my arms. I'm like, how do you solve that?
Any better than that?
Yeah. How do you get better than that? It's amazing.
That's like right out of the Notebook.
I know. I want to someday I'm going to write a bunch of these responses down and do something special with them, but it's cool. So like Heath Barton is at St. Croix or Troy Yarborough at Agape or some of these Eval Hospice that we have a lot of customers. They're using this for culture building inside their organization. So if you get a positive response, we put a ticket in a jar and we draw one out a month. Or they used, one of them created a PowerPoint with all these sayings and they put the caregivers' pictures on there. And here's all the patients that you took care of that responded to us. And here's your picture nurse. Here's your picture chaplain. Thank you for what you did. Amazing for culture. And it's what hospice is about.
100%. You see, I think a lot of people don't realize that we have this generational shift that's happened, right? I mean, texting wouldn't work really well for the GI and silent generation. Mm-hmm. But the clients that we're serving today are boomers like me, mm-hmm. who are tech savvy, who don't want another app. They want to be able to get that text. So I think your timing on this couldn't be better. I mean, if you'd done this 10 years ago, I don't think it would have ever worked.
COVID. I hate to say it. I hate COVID. I hated everything about it, but it's the only positive thing COVID brought us.
Well, telehealth too.
Yeah, telehealth and COVID.
Yeah, because telehealth was like 20% adoption. Now it's like 70 to 80%.
Right. But and so I proved this one day. I was at the pharmacy getting my dog's We have a dog that has seizures. Bentley has seizures. I was getting her medication.
Is that the Bernese Mountain Dog?
Yeah, she's a Swiss Mountain Dog. Yeah.
Swiss Mountain Dog.
Yeah, she's
a beautiful dog.
Angel. Yeah, she's an angel.
Yeah.
So she has a couple of seizures. Me too. She has a couple of seizures, and so I was in there getting her medicine, and the lady in front of me had her phone out, and I just overheard the pharmacist ask her date of birth. She was 94 years old, and then she sat down and she started scrolling through Instagram on her phone, and I'm like, and so I took a picture of her leg and the phone, not her face, and then I told the story to my team. I'm like, texting is here, guys. We're here. This is in 4 or 5 years ago. Like, we have to build a texting platform. Now, you can't send HIPAA or PHI or any of that information to it. Right. But I can ask you how you're feeling.
Right.
I can ask you how you're doing. I can send you links to websites, and I can get that engagement score up, and we can have a two-way conversation with you. And they all do it. Our opt-out rate is so low, like we hardly even track it anymore.
It's amazing. I mean, it is amazing how we are drinking from a fire hose. This data, technology, everything is just changing so rapidly. And I love where you guys are at with Maxwell TEC, because you guys are right there at the cusp, seeing it, adopting it, and making change happen. I got a chance to attend your I don't think it was your first session, but it was a big session this summer.
Thrive, yeah, it was Thrive.
Yeah, the Thrive, Maxwell TEC Thrive. You guys had a lot of people out there, and these were all people that were tech forward and people that were looking for innovation and really the change that is about to happen. That's why I attended. Sure. I mean, I wanted to learn. Sure.
It was a cool conference. It was a small, we try to do them small. I don't want a giant conference. I don't want anybody just coming, but let's get thought leaders in there, people that are really care about. David Jackson attended, UTAC attended, Empath. There was tons of people.
I met Heather Hodges. I did a podcast with her. I mean, I threw axes with her. It was really cool.
Yeah, she's an angel in the industry for sure. And it was a lot of fun, but we really want to pull the people in that are thinking about what's the difference and where are we going with this, especially with all the AI and changes that are happening with ambient listening and all those different things. It's going to be really important that, we stay ahead of this, and it's where I spend all my time. I'm a geek about that.
Do you ever sleep?
I actually had a really good sleep score last night. I wear a Whoop. I know you were talking about this the other day with that concierge doctor.
Yeah.
I wear a Whoop. My sleep score last night was green. That's good.
What's it, about 6 hours, 7 hours?
I usually get 7.5 hours.
There you go.
I don't do a whole lot other than play golf and work. What else is there to do?
Well, you do a little traveling, and
we do.
And I know you're a big Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah, the Cowboys suck.
It's hard to be a Cowboy fan.
It's so hard. I'm sorry.
Are you following the World Series?
I am. We watched it last night, and here's a funny story. It was on, or not last night.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, but we watched it last night as a replay, and Jen about halfway through goes, I think this is a replay. They're on the 18th inning, and I'm like, no, it's not a replay. And she proved me wrong again.
Yeah, but I will tell you, I'm a big baseball fan, and that 18-inning game,
it's unbelievable.
I was in Austin, Texas, and I was up till 2:00 in the morning watching that game. I can't imagine what it was like for the people back in Toronto.
Oh, man.
I mean, they were up till almost 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. What a game.
But your history. How many games have gone 18 innings in the World Series?
Exactly. I mean, that's what baseball's all about.
That's right. I love the new baseball, by the way, with the shot or the timer on the pitchers.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that they did not put the base runner in the 10th inning on second base. I mean, it keeps it pure that way.
I agree.
Because it would have never made it 18 innings if there was a runner on second base.
I agree with that.
So we're up against a break. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I've got Tom Maxwell here in the studio with me. Stick around. We'll be right back. We're back. You're listening to Health Futures. I got Tom Maxwell here in the studio with me. He's the chairman of Maxwell TEC. Mm-hmm. And, we've learned a lot about his background. And certainly I want to ask him a personal question, because I've known Tom for probably the better part of 15 years. And, you and I have broken bread together. We've had drinks together.
Yes, we have.
And we've played golf together. We've done a lot of things together. And you have gone through a huge transformation. And I'm going to say in the last 18 months. And it may be less, but you are literally almost half the size you used to be. And you're living your best life. You've got more energy, I know, than you had before. And you had a lot of energy before. Sure. So I would love for you, to share with our listeners. You talked about my last podcast. I had Dr. Jenna Azar here on the studio. She's a concierge physician, and she said something that was very apropos, and that is you can't have a long lifespan if you don't have a long health span, or if you don't have a good health span. And I think you got that message, not from her, but you got that message another way. And I would love for you to share with our listeners this transformation that you've gone through.
Yeah. So it all started when I turned 50. I'm 55 now. Jen bought me, it was during COVID, unfortunately. She bought me a trip to Ireland with my buddies. We were going to go play golf. And I was playing a lot of golf.
I love Ireland, by the way.
It was amazing.
We'll have to talk offline where you played.
I've been twice, and we'll talk about all those. And you and I talked a little bit about this earlier. But so I was going to play Ireland, and I knew we were going to walk for 10 rounds of golf, 10 days in a row. And there's just no way my fat butt could do that. And so I've been walking a little bit at North Oaks and up in Minnesota. I'm like, there's no way I can do 10 days in a row. I'm going to die. And so I started losing weight. So I really, but at that time I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and this is when Dana White had his big transformation, when Dana White changed his diet, and Joe was talking about being a carnivore and all that. And I'd tried every diet in the world, and I was 325 pounds.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow, you worked well. I would have never thought that. You were solid, though.
I can't believe Jen married a 325-pound guy, but she did. And so I went on the carnivore diet and started working out every day, and just said I'm going to commit to working out. I still work out every morning. I've worked out at 4 o'clock this morning so I could make sure I was here in time for this with all my meetings that I had. And so I started eating meat, eggs, and cheese. And I changed my alcohol. I only drink vodka and soda, or vodka and tequila, or tequila and soda. And I eat for breakfast every morning. I usually stop at the Little Snitch or JJ's Deli here, and I have 3 eggs and some bacon. And then for lunch, I have like a hamburger patty or beef jerky, and then I'd eat steak.
I haven't heard sugar. You have no sugar?
No sugar. No sugar. Every now and then I cheat. My doctor said if you don't get some sugar every now and then, you're going to pancreatitis. And so like I'll eat a tortilla once every 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe some chips like at a Mexican food restaurant, but it's very, very, very rigor around meat, eggs, and cheese only.
And do you control the portion sizes? So you could eat as much as you want.
You don't need it, but
no. But is there a type of meat you're eating? I mean, fatty meat, lean meat.
Yeah. So I eat very, very well-fed, grass-fed, very clean beef most of the time. When you go out to a restaurant, you never know what you're getting. But when I cook it at home, I'm big fans of the 4 Sixes Ranch out of Texas. So I order my steaks out of there.
There you go.
I usually eat a New York strip or ribeye every night. I'm the best at cooking steak. Cook them better than anybody.
I'll tell you what, you dropped, I'm going to guess, at least 100 pounds.
125.
125 pounds. So you're at what, 200?
I'm right around 200, yeah.
Wow, you and I are close to the same weight.
Yeah.
But you look so much better.
Thanks, man. I have all new clothes. I mean, here's the most bizarre thing I didn't know to do. When you lose weight, you lose shoe size.
You lose shoe size?
Yeah, at least in the width, and you lose hat size. So all my hats fit way better now, even like a ball cap, I'm having to move them down. And
Right.
I didn't know I had a fat head, but I had a fat head.
But the clothes,
clothes are unbelievable.
Yeah, now you're a clothes whore.
I have so many clothes. I give my clothes away. I donate them or give them to friends. And there's guys walking around with Desert Mountain shirts all over this country now because of me. But I went from an extra, extra large to a large.
And you're never going back?
No, I won't change my diet. I love meat, eggs, and cheese only.
Right. And I got to tell you, I mean, you've definitely expanded your lifespan. And
sure.
Jen has to be so happy for that.
Yeah, she is. She's a super wellness junkie as well. So we're very blessed. She's doing all the peptides and, watching what she eats, and we cold plunge every day. She's way more religious about cold plunging than I am now, but for a year, we did it every morning, and then I'll do it 3 or 4 times a week. She's got a sauna in the gym, and I mean, we're very into the Gary Brecka, 10X Human, Superhuman, making sure you're watching what you eat, when you eat, how much alcohol you consume, what vitamins you take, what peptides you take, all those things are there.
Not as extreme as that guy that wrote the book, Don't Die.
No, I like that guy though.
Yeah, he's some of it's not bad, but right? He's a little more to the extreme.
Yeah, I just want to live the best possible life. I don't care how long I live. I want to live the best life while I'm alive.
Well, you're at 55 and I turned 63 this year.
You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you. And I got to tell you, Tom, I really, this was the first birthday where I thought about how many more of these do I have? Mm-hmm. And, I want to make them the best they can be. And look, you work really hard and I know you play hard still. And, I've worked really hard over the years.
Sure.
And I've made it a point this year to really take time for myself and Susie. And, first time that I've taken 10-day vacations, not once over the summer, but twice. We went to Colorado for 10 days and had the best time. We stayed in Avon. So we were at Beaver Creek and Vail and did whitewater rafting and
awesome.
Hiking. And then we went to Kauai for 10 days and had the best time. Next summer, we're going to Colorado for a month. We're going to rent a house and be up there. You go to Minnesota, we're going to Colorado.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really that work-life balance that I've struggled with. And now, you know, where I've really had this epiphany that, you know, look, you know, I want to have a long lifespan and I'm working on my health, but I got to have that balance, right? That work-life balance.
Yeah, we love it. Jen and I did Greece for her 50th birthday.
Wow.
And we spent 10 days, took the kids over there. It was an amazing trip. And
I'll
then,
bet it was.
And then when Cole, our youngest, graduated college, we took him and his girlfriend to Italy this year, and as a present for graduating college, and we had a blast. And it's the first time I would say in my adult professional career that I really checked out. Like I didn't even pick up my laptop. I checked my phone. I snuck it. Jen doesn't really know that, but I make sure everything's going on. But I mean, we have Jay and Scott and the team that manage the businesses, and we really went away for 10 days. It was a blast.
You got a great team.
I did cheat though on my diet over there. I had all the pizza and pasta and all that, and nothing changed. I came back here. Yeah, I came back here and had a piece of pizza, and I was sick. But over there, I wasn't.
You know, and I believe moderation's everything, right?
Sure.
I mean, you can sneak in and have a free day every once in a while. You deserve that.
Every now and then I'll eat a pancake. It's probably the only thing I would beat you up over is a pancake. I love pancakes, and when I was fat, I ate them all the time. And now it's every now and then I'll grab a pancake.
An old fashioned? No. There you go.
I feel so bad if I eat sugar. I feel like terrible.
Wow.
And so I really just try to stay away from it. Even a glass of wine. We went to a wine dinner, 100-acre wine dinner, a month ago, and I drank a couple of little sips of wine, and literally I hated the taste of it. And 100 acres is like the best wine in the world.
Right.
And it was terrible.
Well, I mean, listen, it is like a drug.
It is.
And, you know, for me, I did that Whole30 program a few years back.
Cool.
And the first 10 days where I cut out sugar, I mean, I was doing this.
Yeah.
But after 10 days, I was fine. Mm-hmm. But it was hard. It was hard to keep it going. So, yeah, I did it for 30 days. I lost about 20 pounds. I felt really good. And now I've tried to keep it as moderate as possible.
Here's a tip for you. I mean, you look great, Bob. You've always looked great.
Thank you.
You're very blessed, and you have good genes. I know your father was the same. I met your father many times, and he looks almost just like you. So, and I think your brother looks just like you too. So you have good genes. I have bad genes. But here's what I do every now and then. I'll put on my fat clothes.
Do you really?
Yeah. I have a pair of pants that I still have in my closet in both houses, one in Minnesota, one in Scottsdale. And when I'm feeling like, hey, I really don't want to go to the gym, I'll put those fat pants on. I'm like, oh man, you are huge.
And I know women won't ever talk about this, but can you give me a sense of your waist size, where you went from and where you're at today?
43 stretching to...
No way. I'm a 43?
I'm a 33 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah. It's crazy. We were at the same size, yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do for a living, and that is being able to care for older adults.
For sure.
And, you know the data, but I want to share for our listeners, and I've shared this before. You know, we are a aging population, and we are rapidly aging like never before. This planet has never seen aging like we are seeing today.
Correct.
So our 65-year-old population between now and 2050 is going to double. Our 85-year-old population is going to nearly quadruple. That's literally, I keep saying 25 years. Now it's 24 years. Right. And just think, Y2K was like yesterday. Mm-hmm. So we can't build enough communities, assisted living, independent living communities. We have to figure out how we make a world where home is the center of care.
Absolutely.
And where you are focused more on the clinical side and a lot on the data side, you know, we provide in-home supportive care services. So, you know, this landscape is changing by the minute, and most Americans think that Medicare is going to pay for it, especially assisted living and in-home supportive care, and they're not.
Correct.
So, you know, I'd love for you to give me what your vision is and where you see us going into the future and how we're going to solve this problem, which I believe is not the biggest problem of our generation. It may be the biggest problem of humanity. We've never seen this on our planet. We are aging at such a rapid rate. You look at South Korea, you look at Japan. I mean, they are aging at a far greater rate than we are, and they're about 20 years ahead of us. And when you sit down and you think about it, in order for us to sustain our population here in America at 345 million Americans, every child-rearing female needs to have 2.1 kids.
Great.
And we're at 1.63, and we're declining. And I talk to women all the time, and they're not interested in having more than one or two kids. So how are we going to get through this?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We got to figure out how to do more with less, of course. We're going to run out of Medicare money if we don't figure this out. We don't solve this problem.
Yeah.
I think we have to really structure every single interaction in a home visit. Like what you guys do is everybody on your team is angels. I know a bunch of them and they're amazing. We have to figure out how to solve some of these diseases that are happening, but we have to be able to make sure that every single visit that we do in the home, whether it's 24-hour care 7 days a week, or it's a couple hours a week, is very intentional. We have to educate. We have to take more time to educate ourselves and also learn more about our diseases and do that. It's funny, on one of my podcasts, I was talking to a doctor friend of mine, and he said, it's so much harder to be a doctor now than it was 2 years ago. I'm like, why? That's weird. Why would it be harder? And he's like, everybody comes into my office. They're way more educated on their disease. If you have a disease, they've gone through ChatGPT. They know everything about their disease, and they're expecting more from me. And now I have to spend more time because they're expecting more. They have a lot more questions, which is awesome.
Yeah, but at the same time, Dr. Asar said she doesn't have to do charting anymore.
That's right.
Because she's using technology.
Ambient listening.
And it's being done for her. So she can study up and learn about all of this, a lot of the things that the patients are throwing at her.
It's true. But we have to figure out how to get more caregivers in the home. We have to figure out how to, and you said it with the podcast with doctors, I think it was a Dr. Azar, maybe it was with the guy from Healthcare Pulse, but you were talking about the different groups of people that take care of their families better. I think it's something that we struggle with in America, is we don't do as good a job of taking care of our families. If you look at the Japanese and the Koreans and some of them, they all live together, and they bring their grandparents and their families and all those into their own home, and they take care of them. I'm not saying that's how we solve it, but I think there's challenges there.
I think it's a big part of it.
It is, culturally.
I mean, look, we've been here in the Valley 31 years, and we care for everyone. And I can't count on two hands how many Hispanic clients I've had. And it's not that they can't afford our services. It's just that they take care of their own. Culturally, they take care of their own.
True.
And when my mother, when she grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, back in the 50s and late 40s, she lived in the same neighborhood as her aunties and her uncles and her cousins. And that's what they did. My grandmother cared for her mother, cared for her husband, cared for her brother, cared for neighbors. I mean,
for sure,
people did that.
So I think technology is going to play a big piece in this too. If we can get the right nurse to the right home at the right time, it's going to be important. We can shrink the number of visits that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do that. We can't keep providing too much care. I think we're going to have to do more home care services versus home health versus hospice.
I think the ambient thing is a big thing.
Ambient,
ambient, monitoring in the home, being able to predict and protect
for sure
that older adult before an event happens. I mean, we got to keep them out of the ER. We got to keep them out of the urgent cares.
Nobody wants to go to the hospital. I mean, nobody does unless you work there, or unless you own it. The other thing I would say is with the ambient listening, one of the things I hear most from home health nurses and hospice nurses is they don't want to come to home health and have to deal with all the paperwork. There's tons of paperwork. And if I told the nurse in the hospital that you needed to go see all your patients all day long, and then when you're done with your shift, I need you to go home and work for 4 hours to do your documentation on that, they wouldn't work there. And that's kind of what we're doing in home health. So we have to use the ambient listening. We have to help with documentation. We have to simplify the process and make it easier for them. If we don't, nobody's going to want to work in this business. So all these technologies that we're talking about, we're working on right now. This is a year away, 6 months away, not 5 years away.
Yeah.
But we have to solve that. We have to get more people into the home. People want to age in their home. Nana wants her remote control. She wants her dog. She wants her family. She wants what's convenient to her. She doesn't want to be in a hospital being woke up 3 times a day or 3 times a night, getting medications and all that. So getting patients home is super important. It also saves the government tons of money. I'm struggling right now with today is Halloween, and I woke up this morning really struggling. The government shut down. We're expecting the home health final rule to come out any day now, and there's nobody at the government to approve the rule. And so they're going to delay it. I'm sure it won't come out in the next few days. You'll probably be at the Alliance meeting next week when it comes out.
I'm not making it.
You're not?
Yeah.
Or maybe the week after that.
Are you going?
No. It'd be the first one I've ever missed.
Yeah, it's one of my first ones too.
I'm sad, but Jen's going and the team's going, and they told me that they didn't need me. So, first time. And
you talk about the government shutting down. And, look, we all stay away from politics and religion. We don't want to really have that part of our discussion. But, our caregivers, the ones that work in the in-home supportive care side, 90% of them live paycheck to paycheck.
For sure.
And I would venture to say about a third, if not more, of these caregivers are on the SNAP program.
Sure.
And they're not funding it. And, I've got caregivers that are really worried about how are they going to be able to eat because they're not going to get, their vouchers to be able to go to these grocery stores.
Scary.
It is. It's really scary. We have Medicaid population that we care for, and they're in the same boat. I hope we figure this thing out.
Yeah, there was on my way over here, I saw something pop up on my phone. And believe it or not, I didn't read it because I try not to drive and look at my phone. I do it more than I should probably, but
you should get it to talk to you and read your
messages.
It
does.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't have that fancy of a car. Come on.
And you do. Come on. People that know Tom Maxwell, he's got fancy cars. I remember going out to dinner with you with the guy, and that's all you guys did was talk about cars.
I know. I love cars, but I drive a simple Range Rover. But there was something pop up on my phone that said that, the federal judge was telling Trump that he had to approve the SNAP program. And I hope they figure that out. The military, they just approved the military to get paid. I mean, Imagine being a service member. And when I was in the service, E4 in the Navy that had a spouse and a couple of kids at home a spouse that didn't work. And on the E4, which is, corporal or, a sergeant, even a sergeant E5 or, could qualify for food stamps. Like, what is wrong with the world if somebody in the military who spent 8 years in the military can qualify for food stamps?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with us? And so we got to figure this out. We got to solve this problem. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent. Sit down and work together. Come on. We're paying you guys to do a job. Sit down and work together and figure out how to solve these problems.
It's funny. We talked about Val Hamaderis, and he was the president and CEO of the National Association of Home Care and Hospice. He was one of the founders of it.
Yep.
And Val introduced Jen to you.
Absolutely.
So, both of us, hold him in high regard. We lost him a few years back. But I remember being at the Mayflower Hotel, and I was sitting at the end of the bar with him. And it was just he and I. And he said, back in that corner of the bar, he goes, I remember early 80s, maybe 1981, 82. He goes, on a Thursday evening, it wasn't uncommon for me to see Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill sitting there having a bourbon and working out the deals.
That's cool.
I mean, we need to go back to that. We need to be more civilized. We need to be able to work these things out.
Yeah, and I think social media has caused the biggest problem in this.
Yeah, the algorithms. I mean, come on. Yeah. It's crazy what's going on out there.
Yeah, I only do it to laugh and do jokes. I don't watch the other stuff. So
no,
algorithm's all jokes.
No, but, really come full circle as we close out our show. I love what Maxwell TEC is doing.
Thank you.
I mean, we're really trying to bring technology to really assist the way we deliver care. Predictive analytics has really kind of been your specialty, and you've really created and started companies and brought companies together, and you shared that here with us. I know that you're not going away anywhere anytime soon. You figured out you couldn't play golf more than 77 days and then be bored.
Yep.
So, I really would love for you to share with us, where do you see Maxwell TEC going? And, what do you see for the future? I mean, I love what you're doing, and you get a hand in a lot of different things. You mentioned Dave Chupan and Vistria, and you see a lot of things over there, but you got your finger on the pulse. If for me and for our listeners, where do you see us going?
It's a great question. I want to continue to evolve with the industry as it continues to evolve. I want to continue to build companies. One of the things I always say is I love watching people succeed, and I love helping them succeed. And so Jennifer and I started the Maxwell Advisory Group, which is part of Maxwell TEC as well. And so our goal is to invest in companies, to continue to grow companies, and watch people succeed, solve the real problems. But we're going to solve those problems around home health, hospice, and home care. Super excited about that. We're going to continue to build softwares. I have 6 more in my mind. I can't put too many out in a row. Continue to evolve with, the Metalogics and for Cure product now called MUSE. Love that product. Love what they're doing. Trella, all the companies we're involved in. I love watching these organizations grow and grow and grow. On my April Anthony podcast at the Last Visit First, one of the things she said is, I want every interaction with every patient to be meaningful, but I also want every interaction with every employee to be meaningful. And so that's what brings, warmness to my heart, is watching people grow in their organizations, watching people grow in their companies, helping them grow, giving them cash if they need cash. I don't want to be anybody's bank, but helping you evolve your business. That's where we spend all of our time. And so Maxwell TEC is going to continue to grow, to involve, continue to build software, continue to hire consultants. And it's not just about growing, it's about making a meaningful impact. That's what we want to do, Bill.
Well, I love it. I really do. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is that we need more people in the healthcare vertical.
We do.
And this is my appeal to our listeners. I mean, if you have a child that's in high school or college and they're uncertain as to what to do, healthcare represents 1/3 of our GDP. You don't have to be a clinician. You can be in home care, you can be an administrator, you can be a technology person, but we need you in healthcare. We need to solve for this problem of aging.
For sure.
Because every American, and I think this is what Wilhelm Medeiros used to say, the last civil rights movement is to ensure that every aging, infirmed, elderly person can have that right to age in place and the place that they love and the place that they want to be, and that is home.
That's right.
We should give them that right.
I agree.
So if people wanted to contact you, Tom, how do they get a hold of you?
I'll give you my email address, tom@maxwelltech.com. It's tec.com. And then they can find us on the website at www.maxwelltech.com. You can find me on LinkedIn.
They should link into Tom because Tom's putting out some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Last Visit First podcast. So tom@lastvisitfirst.com.
And you can pick that up off any of the podcast apps.
All of them. Yeah. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all of them. So yeah, love it.
I can't believe you have 12 already in the can and you've released 3 of them already.
Three, we're going on our 4th one this week. So Tracy Dent from Accent Care comes out this week. Super awesome nurse. One of the best nurses in the world. Good old Texas girl. She's fun. We go into a lot of fun stuff. So yeah.
Well, I love that you're talking to the clinicians too.
Oh, I want everybody.
Because that's where the work is being done.
I want the number one aide out there, whoever that is. You tell me who it is. I'm going to put them on the podcast. I want to talk to the aide. I want to talk to the chaplain, the social worker, the nurse, the administrator. Let me have them.
You bet.
I want those people for sure.
Well, Tom Maxwell, thank you for joining me here at Health Futures. And thank you for our listeners for watching. You've been listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and I've been very blessed to have Tom Maxwell, the chairman of the board for Maxwell TEC. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Great having you on.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm Bob Roth, reminding you that living well isn't just about years. It's about the quality of life and connections. Follow and share the show, and join us next time for more on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life.